So what you see here on my desk is another stuff from PCBWay, and this is something new because I wanted to try out a new service. So I did obviously a lot of PCBs, and I've also tried a 3D printing service. The one thing I didn't try is the CNC cutting service. And I have done a lot of CNC products, and I have one particular product. I mean, sorry, it's not a product, it's a model. It's this one. So this is a light for my garden railway, which should go on the station platform. And I designed this, designed this in CAD. And the idea was that I would have, a couple of layers of thin metal sheets, and I would stack them together to give this kind of like latticed structured light that you sometimes see on the platform. So it's sort of like old style stuff. So not the, not when you have a cylindrical light fixture, but it's more like, this type of stuff. And I don't know why I didn't do this, but I said, okay, I'm not going to order it, or I'm going to make it from metal, so sheet metal. But I mean, what I have is like 6mm. I think this is 4mm plywood. So I reduced the number of layers just to basically 3 layers. So you have these, and then you have the lattice in between, and it was good. And obviously, it weathers. I tried to paint this, but it didn't. I mean, it survived a couple of years, and the LEDs that I put died, or maybe it's the wiring died, and I didn't use it. But I thought, okay, maybe now I can do this because I can redesign it, go back to the original design, and I can just redo it from metal. That's what the original intention was. So I thought that this is a relatively small one. It should be, easy to ship, so there shouldn't be any issues ordering this from China, so I can use the CNC cutting service from PCBWay. And that's what I did. Well, that's where I started. Unfortunately, the story is not going to end well, mostly because I made some mistakes. So let me just open this and then see how this looks like, because this is the first time I'm receiving a package like this. So, and I know that whatever I ordered is fairly small, so I'm a bit surprised why I got in such a big box. Okay, so again, just going back to the thing. So the idea is that I would have the same thing from metal. I mean, obviously would have more layers. It's still going to be thinner. It's more like, nicer than these relatively chunky 4mm. I designed this to use 1mm thick metal. Okay, so there's loads of packaging in here. Oops. Oh, I got some presents. Oh, that's nice. And there is more stuff in here. So packaging. I'm going to move this to the side. And there is more packaging. So the reason this whole thing didn't work out, because obviously this contains a couple of different parts. So there is one design which is sort of like the side, and you have the zigzag pattern, which I was planning to use in 2 layers. So one is that way and the other one is mirrors, so you have like the zigzag going in both ways. And of course you have this colored thing, and then, well, this I was planning to use plastic pipe for this. So basically these 3 parts. And when you order anything CNC cut, then the different parts you have end up being on separate orders. And the order numbers was very similar. So I thought, well, it's just basically one order with, 3, parts in it, but actually it was 3 separate orders. So this ended up being only one of the orders, basically one of the part which is required for the light. And unfortunately, it is already fairly expensive. So I don't think that I'm going to order the other parts. So probably I'm going to look for a local supplier and then just cut it locally, because first of all, the coat was quite expensive. I mean, I don't remember how much it was when I tried to do it here, because it was ages ago. So I can't really compare. But the other thing, I also ended up paying a lot of on shipping and duties, so import duties, which yeah, which wasn't nice. So it already cost some money, which, I mean, for the exchange of this video and some of the credit that I have on the PCBWay store, thanks to you who ordered the PCBs, I didn't actually pay anything for it. I paid for the duties, which was almost another 100 USD. So I think that's quite a lot for duties and VAT. Yeah, but it would be even more. Okay, I might do a cut here while I do the rest of the unboxing. Oh, no, it's here. So, wow, this is beautiful. Oh, so the other interesting thing about the order is that, so I uploaded my design and then I had to select the material, and that was mild steel. And so when I clicked on it, there was a price, and it's like, oh, it's quite expensive. I thought it's quite expensive, and then I started changing the price, the material. So then I selected aluminium. I didn't want aluminium, but it was the same price, and I selected copper, and it was still the same price. And I mean, whenever I ordered CNC cutting, I was always told that, you know, copper is complicated because it reflects the laser much better, so it's more difficult to work with. So it was already quite strange for me why the steel and the copper is at the same price. And then finally, the other problem is that so the quote was really, really high. And obviously, because I have contact with PCBWay, I just asked them, like, you know, it seems to be a very expensive quote, and say that my design is very intricate. And they, you know, the production people was afraid that there would be a lot of scrappage because due to the heat, the part is going to bend and they have to reject a lot of part. Hence, they increase the price because they, you know, accept scrappage during the production. And I completely understand that. I mean, you know, this is a very intricate design. By the way, this is supposed to be the middle part, which goes in here. So that one. So you can see it's the same thing, but it's really nice thin material. But I would be willing to live with, you know, less perfect part, because the idea is, just like in the original lamp, is that I would have these several layers that I would just sandwich together, and probably I would use clamp to clamp them together and then just solder them together into one single part. Similarly how this is glued together. And so I wouldn't be, you know, I would be able to tolerate, you know, warpage and that sort of stuff. But again, that's really hard to communicate because, you know, you have an order, it has some, you know, assumed tolerances, and yeah, I mean, I guess they were afraid. I mean, I don't know how this would work in a regular order, because obviously you would receive your order and then you say, oh, this price is really big, really high. I don't know if you would be able to have the same conversation with somebody at PCBWay. Probably will be, but yeah, that's the. Oh, and now I can see the warping. I think if you see the different ones next to each other. So I was planning to make 10 lamps, and for this I need 20 of this part. Because, as I said, it would have, you know, I would swap them around like this. So the zigzag the zigzag would go both ways, and then in between, and at the end I would have another part which is like what you see here. We just have the two ribs. So it's going to be 5 layers, so 5mm thick, and this is going to be sort of the middle 2 layer. So layer 2 and 3 would be these. I would just swap them around as I showed you here. So, I mean, oops, focus. So, I mean, yeah, it looks so nice. I mean, compared to my other model, I mean, this is so thin and it's so elegant. And I mean, it would be sturdy enough for, you know, 5 layers and everything, but even with second layer, it's like, I like it. And, you can see that if I, for example, I hold this top part together, you can see how much it actually warps. But as I said, I wouldn't mind that, because I can just maybe clip these together and then clip this together here, and then, you know, the warping issue is gone. I can just fix it in production. It doesn't have to be perfect, because, you know, once I put everything together, then it will be great. And all these webs here and everything, these cutouts and these weird shapes are so that I can hide the wires inside later on. So now oh, and one more thing I wanted to show you is actually this comes with a sandblasted finish, which would be ideal for me, because if I eventually want to solder these layers together, then a rough surface would make the solder flow better. But it looks beautiful. I mean, I have to say, I mean, yeah. So if you want to do some CNC part and you want to make it look good, then I have to say this bra. Well, it says in the listing, it said, sorry, in the page it said copper. It looks a little bit like, you know, red copper, so it's not that white, but sorry, not that yellow. But the sandblasted finish is, yeah, it looks pretty good, I have to say. So if you want to make something for the looks, it's definitely that, you know, it has the looks. I mean, I don't know how you would protect it long term. Maybe you can add a lacquer layer, you know, spray on lacquer, because that would definitely catch some, you know, moisture. So I think eventually the copper corrodes to a thin, what is it, green layer. I'm not sure if this would happen with this copper as well, but I think there are many ways how you can protect it. But I mean, and it ended up really great. So I'm really happy with the end results. It's just that I'm a little bit sorry about, you know, how the price and the fact that I overlooked that I have actually 3 orders and not one order. So, but still, it was a good learning, and I got some really nice products. So, and I think I better understand the, you know, the production limitations, and also the, you know, the various material offers and finishes that you can get from PCBWay. So that's really nice. And let me just show you some of the other things that I got. Got some stickers. I got these rulers. All these rulers are fun, and my kids love it. So they have taken most of my rulers. So I think I only have 2 of them. But this pink one is new. I don't think I have seen this pink silk screen color before. The blue I did, unless this is a different shade of blue. And they seem to have this new component schematic symbol PCB as well. That's nice with the black silk screen. Oh, that's really nice. It looks pretty good in person. And I'm not sure what is packed in here. Oh, okay. These are the 3D printed parts. So I have some of these in a different material, but I have to say I tried transparent filament to print light pipes, and yeah, you can't. So I think this must be some sort of, well, obviously I use PLA, and because of the layers, it's not going to be transparent. Well, it's going to be transparent or translucent, but it's definitely not going to conduct light. But with these, so this must be, what's the other technique? The, you know, the layers things, well, with the SLA. Not SLA. So you can definitely use some material which gives absolutely transparent stuff. So this looks pretty awesome, to be honest. So if you want to do light pipes, they definitely have the printing, you know, the machines and also the material to print transparent stuff, which would be ideal for light pipes. And I got a pen and a bag. So let me show you the order and also the ordering process. Let me just make my actually, you know what? This is going to be a big screen, so let me change my layout. And okay, so what I did is I did CNC machining. Did I do? Oh no, I did. Sorry, sheet metal fabrication. So that was specifically sheet metal fabrication. So these are my stuff, and I have to find my files, which are going to be. You have to bear with me a moment. So I did. Well, I think eventually well, so originally I created these in AutoCAD. But then I modified them to use, well, I imported them to Fusion because as you can see here, you have to provide step files. And, well, I know how to create step files in Fusion. Okay, so these are the three things that I have. So this is the round bit, which I mentioned in the beginning. So it's the base of the lamp. Yeah, it's basically just a round thing with a cutout. So that's a 3mm cutout, assuming 5 layers, as I said. And then I have the zigzag one. That's the one that got CNC cut. And then finally, I have the one which only has the 2 outlines. So that's basically what you see on the outside of this, and then the zigzag inside. So yeah. And of course, the way I said that. Oh yeah, you have and so you have so I needed 10 of these, and the dimension is millimeter, and then you can see the various materials. So originally I wanted mild steel because I said I know how to solder mild steel as well, so that's absolutely fine. But as you can see, you can select copper as well. And let's say mild steel, silver, the gray color, standard thickness 1 mil. I can do 0.8. And here are the surface options. And that's pretty impressive as well. So if you want something which is like, you know, by the time you get it on the mail, it's done, you just have to assemble it, they definitely have everything covered. But I didn't want any surface finishing. And I think I left everything on the default. You can see that you can do a lot of other stuff as well. And then, yeah. Okay, so the next one, let's say I needed 30 of these because I need 3 of each. And my steel 1 mil, standard thickness 1 mil. I mean, based on the file, I mean, the file already defined 1 mil. And yep. And then that's the last thing, and for this I needed 20, and mild 1 mil, and everything default. So that was my original order. And as you can see, I mean, you can see the numbers here already. So I think the entire order altogether was about $1,000. And yet again, okay, 800. So again, I have to probably just need to run my rounds with the company that I usually work with here locally, but I'm pretty sure they would be not that much. That's including VAT and minus the freight charges. And the other thing is that I asked if it would be possible to ship this using the slow shipping, because it wasn't really you know, crucial for me to arrive in time, but they said no, they can only use the DHL shipping. And you know, well, I don't know if this applies to the US as well, but if you use DHL, obviously the shipping is going to be more expensive, but when you pay your VAT and the duties and everything, that always includes the shipping, so that just makes that even more expensive. And you know, this is already beyond any threshold, so this would be flagged up at customs, so I definitely have to pay the customs and the VAT, and it just adds up so much to this price already. And as you can see, if I change this to copper, then the price doesn't really change. So I would assume, I mean, of course, you know, stainless steel and aluminum would be expensive, but I would assume that mild steel would be the cheapest of any option, but this is really not the case. So and yeah, and of course I think, oh, I have to remember, because again, that was a couple of weeks ago. When I submitted the order and then it was reviewed, then I think the price got bumped up again, because you know, they reviewed the design and they said that because they are really thin, intricate details, there's a lot of cutting involved compared to the thickness of the material. They expect a lot of you know, warping and distortion in the final product. So hence the, you know, the scrapping rate, they have to increase the price. And as I said, I completely agree. I would be happy with I mean, I don't know whether this is the amount of warpage that they expected and they just shipped me how it came out of the CNC, or they already scrapped some of them that got bent much worse. But you know, this amount of distortion I'm completely happy with. But you can see that yeah, so the two so yeah, so you can see that basically every single model came to a separate order, and so that was you know, just this one. So one of them was like 600 once they reviewed it and they revised the price. And you can see that I was only paying attention to this, like, oh, 152248A 15224, oh, it's the same order number. So I just, well, sorry, product number. So I only quoted the first product and I haven't realized that these are different. So you can see that it's you know, H59, sorry, H58 and H56. So this is why I ended up only one of the part, not all three of them that I needed. Oh, and you can see that that was the quoted price that came out of the quote that we just seen before. And then, oh, this got bumped up, this got actually reduced. So it goes up and down as they do the, you know, the manual review process. So I think the takeaway for me is that if I want to use the services, then probably I would use it for designs that I only need one of, because obviously that reduces you know, price on shipping. So, you know, duties and everything is going to be lower. And if I remember in the when in the code, I could select one single product as well, or one single, you know, quantity. So if you are doing one-offs, like, you know, you need a nice you know, CNC cut front end for something, for a box or some sort of design with, you know, labels and stuff written to it, then it should be, you know, pretty good to just do one off, and you don't get, you know, such a high price. And of course, if you have a design which is not as intricate as mine, then there wouldn't be a need for, you know, scrappage and those additional prices when they are not really sure how the product is going to end up after, you know, CNC cutting and all the machining steps. And definitely, if you want a, you know, product which is pretty much ready once they ship it, because all the surface finish and, you know, they have also painting options that we have seen in the quote, then definitely something that you need to, well, then you can definitely consider them for, you know, for your production. But unfortunately for me, for this particular project, I'm going to do some head scratching, how actually I'm going to do this and how I can reuse these parts, because I tried and I cannot really find companies who are happy to do, you know, lasers, CNC laser cutting from copper, for the reasons that I mentioned in the beginning. And I'm not sure it's really a good idea to mix copper and stainless steel parts together in a model, especially once they are sort of like soldered together and they are put outside for the elements, because you know, the different properties of different metals, they don't really work with each other. But hey ho, I'm going to figure that out, and hopefully you are going to see the final product in some video, because it would be nice to have some lights on my station in the garden. But until then, I think that will be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next video.